Hi, my first time on live. Um, just taking you to a spot I like to walk around. Thought you guys could take a walk with me and just talk about things in life. Right? A little nature walk of sorts. This is like this little pond. I don't know if you saw the movie Hop, but this pond like dried up last summer. Sometimes you can see turtles and stuff, but however, this pond dried up last summer, and then I saw the movie Hop with my daughter, and it just made me really sad. I'm just so happy to see it. I mean, can't see anything right now, but yeah, maybe you can hear a frog. But yeah, it's just filled with frogs and turtles, and there's deer. There's all kinds of things around. You know, it's still near like kind of like I'm like in a little town right now. It has this like old factory, which kind of reminds me of a castle. I don't know. So take you for a walk to like one of my places I go to clear my thoughts. And I just basically I wanted to talk about closure and situations. Hi, I see there's some people on. Not seeing. Yo, hello. Hi, Khaled. Sorry, I was just kind of in. Yo, hello. Yeah. So I don't know. I've just been kind of on this journey lately, and when I go for walks, I like to see and think about it. Nice to meet you too. Nice to meet you too. Welcome. Thanks for watching. I guess you're gonna listen to me ramble a little bit about closure and situations and things ending and new beginnings. Uh, Fortunately, I am. I consider myself a yeah, glass half full kind of person. Uh, by nature, I don't have to force myself to be that way. I mean, I have my days where I can totally feel sorry for myself, as that's human and anybody can. So nice to meet you too. Thanks for listening. I hope this can help somebody in some way as I go for this walk. I'm going to just cross the street, kind of live in a town where I don't think it's very common to to do this kind of stuff, like talk and walk on a selfie stick. So I used to live in New York City, but now I live here. Lots of W's. Thank you. I'm also new to doing lives. I've done some on TikTok. It's my first time doing a live here on say Facebook. It's not Facebook. YouTube. I have a small channel. Thanks for the crown. Uh, W Skill Bro. My channel, my content. I mean, I'm still. My niche is basically movement, but I want to do like, oh, it's hard. There's a lawnmower. I'll go this way. This guy might follow me though. Thank you. I don't know how to turn on gifts. That's really sweet. What do I do? I don't. A laughing disco. Go. I don't know. Am I allowed to get gifts? I don't have. How do you turn gifts on? Is it here? No. Those are filters. Thanks for the like, though. I guess I should have examined this more. No, I don't want a green screen. Well, I don't want a green screen. I don't know if I just gave myself a green screen. Oh gosh. How did I turn it off? Oh, I love people that. Right. Well, my nature walk. I don't want a green screen. No green screen. There we go. How do you turn on gifts? Well, anyways, I just just popping on here fast to talk about life. Closure. One door closes. Isn't this cool? Is this weird? What is this little place? It's like I don't know. Reminds me of like Hansel and Gretel. I'm at the uh it's called the Mansion House. It's built with like a utopian society. Anyways, I've had a few things happen the past few weeks. Thank you for the. I say hi. Send a hi. Turn on. Let's see. So I don't know. As we all have these experiences, I feel like I'm in a weird cycle where I attract avoidant types and kind of talked about it. I used to not understand like what an avoidant was, like personality type, and I'm not a therapist or anything. This is just me trying to survive life and be happy. But basically, uh, don't like the push pull. I don't have tolerance or time to deal with it. And, I've just come to a point in my life where, I'm a single mom. There's just a lot of things happening that take priority over romance anyway. So I haven't really been seeking it. I'm not like on any dating sites or anything like that. But how are you? Hi, Remy. I'm coming into this little shady spot. So I'm not on any dating sites or anything like that. But every once in a while, somebody will approach me. And usually my response is single mom and I don't have time. And what I mean, I'm limited on time. But I don't have time for drama, mostly. I could have a relationship any day. But if there's nothing to relate to, and if that person isn't going to, I don't need somebody to kiss my tushy. That's not what I'm looking for. Looking for a partner, some understanding. And I just know what I want at this point in time. I'm not a spring chicken. I just want peace. So if I meet someone and they can join me on a journey of just as little drama as possible, other than things that can't be controlled, then cool. But if they can't, and they're just gonna cause disharmony, then I'm out, And I guess this is where it ties into closure. I sometimes too, and this might sound like a game, but it's not a game. I will give anything an opportunity if it in a certain way, if it seeks me out. This gentleman that approached me a few months ago, he seemed shy and nice, and it seemed like it actually took a lot for him to approach me. When he did, he asked for my number and if he could take me out, so I would see him around the gym. I work at a gym. I'm a group fitness instructor, trainer, uh, as well as a dancer, and I teach dance somewhere else. But my background is basically movement, is you'll see. And what I might want to niche on is movement, but I also want to do talk videos, blogging, or whatever about life experiences because I've lived life. I lived in New York City for 20 years. Now I've moved back to the country to raise my daughter. She's 5. So, yeah, basically, he seemed nice enough. But again, I've been around the block a few times. I know nice doesn't mean anything. Everybody can approach with good intentions. Did I think this person was playing games on purpose with me? No, I don't. So I don't hold that against them. I just think this was a person that, gave it a shot. But the minute he had gotten me to go out with him on a date, he explained that 2 years before that, he experienced a painful breakup where he was cheated on, and it was his business. He was getting ready to propose to her, and she cheated on him with his best friend. That's sad. It really is sad. I was cheated on too. I was married once. I just left him. you know, and no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Did it affect me? Yes, but I took time to heal. I took a full year before I would even think about dating again. And, it became a non-priority to me. What's my priority is my child. And being at peace with myself so I can be a good parent. Anyways, this gentleman, explained that to me, and, I saw a flag go up, and I politely just said to him, after getting to know him, and also he was a little bit younger. We're just in different places in our life. And I instantly realized that, you know. But I basically just said, you're not healed. And he got offensive about it and said he was, but I knew. So for that, kind of carried on. I was only meeting him for lunch and stuff, and I was kind of viewing it as more as a friendship. And then we had decided to go out for Halloween, out. And at that point in time, it had been a couple of months. And then I had so much fun on Halloween. And so I was thinking in my head, well, maybe. So I was starting to open up to it. The idea of possibly. So I started to open up a little bit more. And the minute I did, he ghosted me. And yeah, that hurt. Because again, I'm human, right? Like I said, it's not something I'm seeking, but if it finds me, I'll give it an opportunity. Ghosted me, contacted me a couple days later, and apologized for the ghosting. But then, and I said, okay, he's like, you're right, I wasn't healed. All right, fine. Leave it at that. And then months later, I would still see him at the gym. He's a member. I work there. And I'm kind of obligated to be nice. Not that I was going to be mean. There was nothing he did completely wrong. But I know now at this point in time, he's an avoidant type of personality. He's got obviously issues from his past relationship that hadn't healed, but I think there was other things that hadn't healed either. It's not just that. The push-pull method, well, it's not a method. It doesn't just happen. So then, basically, months went by. I went through this whole other thing at work with my manager, which that got resolved, and that's for a different video. And also, I think what happened in that situation, right? Kind of a SH situation with my manager. He's gone now, and I could talk about that some other time and how I handled that and how I found the strength to come forward on that. But I think he also caught me in a vulnerable moment. I I happened to be a little bit hurt and my guard down a little bit. So that kind of seeped in. It's just funny how things happen like that. And then that got handled and resolved, and that man is gone now. And, things were not on the up and up because life is lifing. Life is lifing like how it happens. But what is this? This is like this little small lake or big pond. They call it Sunset Lake, but uh, then it's so pretty. But that's why I think these little nature walks settle me on all that. This guy approached me again, Halloween guy, and he caught me. Like there was something going on in our hall. There was like a forklift in our building, and one of our handymen. Look at this, pretty. Is it pretty? One of our handymen was like up on the forklift inside the building. It was kind of funny, but the hallway was like cut off. Ooh, it's a birdie. You see, look at this, all this nature right now. And hi, look, hi. And this squirrel. Do you see him? You're like a statue squirrel. So, take off. It's okay. I think everybody's like kind of like babies right now. They're trying to figure this stuff out in spring. So, sorry, I keep getting sidetracked. So yeah, basically, I got cornered in this hallway, and Halloween, we'll just call him Halloween guy, like approached me and said, "Hi, Nikki," which I've been used to him saying that. He's been like yelling across the room for months ever since it happened. Me politely, because I'm already like, okay, this, I've pegged him as an avoidant. So I was always polite and just said hi. And then he kept, he kept it going. He was standing behind me and he's like, "Hi, Nikki." He's like, "I want to apologize for how the way I ended things." I said, "Oh, no, it's not a big deal." And this is just now feeling awkward. And it would even be more awkward if even though the hallway, my office is right there, if I was just like ran in my office, it would have been more awkward. So I said, "Oh, don't worry about it." He's like, "Well," he's like, "Do you think we could go out again sometime?" And he really caught me off guard. I was like, "I don't know. Maybe I'm really busy," which was true. I was getting my students ready for dance competitions, plus my daughter, and they were all coming up, and so I didn't really have any weekends or any time. I explained that to him. I said, maybe, I was like, just text me sometime. And he left, and then he texted me literally 5 minutes later. And fine. So after that, again, he wrote that he was sorry. And I still had my guard up a little bit. And I said, "Okay, I'll go out with you again, but just understand, like, I'm definitely setting my boundary. Just understand I value communication and I value consistency." And he's, "Okay, well, how about this Saturday?" And I was already getting kind of annoyed because I just explained, like, I've got a dance competition coming for my kid, and that's not going to work. And I already explained to you I'm super busy, really, basically until June. At this point in time, it was like in May, or actually April. But then he's like, "Well, how about lunch?" I said, "Fine, I can do a lunch, next week sometime." At the lunch, everything's fine. Seem to be reconnecting. Yeah, and I gave it that other chance, and then seeing things started happening again, started ghosting. So this is where it brings me to closure. I was done, but gave it one more kind of opportunity. I set my boundary, in writing, saying uh, I value communication, I value consistency. He started doing the running act again, and Yeah, I'm not going to put up with it. That was my closure. My peace is my closure. I don't need somebody coming in and out of my life. He kind of, we had plans, and he kind of ghosted for a few days, no hello over the weekend or anything. And then I got a random weird text at 2 a.m. on a Monday morning, or I was Sunday night, Monday morning, 2 a.m., saying that he's having cocktails with his sister on the phone, and he's not going to be able to meet up with me to do yoga and lunch the next day, which is all okay. But it was just weird. It was no, like, he did apologize for texting so late, but there was no follow up on that of like, hey, can we reschedule or anything. And also, like, you waited until 2 a.m. on Sunday or Monday morning. Like, you could have just texted me Monday morning at an appropriate time and say, hey, can't make it today, when can we reschedule? But whatever, it was what it was. But I was done. And still gave it a little bit of time for him to redeem himself throughout that day. Like, hey, sorry I texted so late last night, or anything, can we reschedule? Didn't hear from him. Tuesday happened, and then I decided, yeah, I'm done. Closure. So I responded to that text, and I just basically said, don't say hi to me again. Don't apologize for anything, and pretend you never met me. And is that harsh? Yeah, but in my experience, if you aren't straightforward with this type, and just what he was displaying the last time, I was annoyed every time he said hi to me, but I was being polite because it was also my place of work. And I just wanted to make sure that he understands to stay away from me. I had the closure because my closure is peace. Right? I didn't have to explain anymore, and that was that. And it worked. Since then, I've seen him a couple times. He sees me, he looks in the other direction. Right? There was no coulda, woulda, shoulda. I feel like, even though I was aware of his pattern, I mean, part of me knew it was going to happen again. Part of me was trying to see the best in him and hope for the best. And I hope he also told me too, in that time period, it was like a 6-month time period when he asked me out again, that he was doing a lot of healing and working on himself. I mean, not that he mentioned that he got professional help, which to each his own. But again, from experience, I know it doesn't just take 6 months to heal from that kind of pain that has stuck with him for a while. So again, I kind of already a little bit knew. Do I think he's an awful person? No, but I don't think it's fair for people that aren't healed to go around trying to start things up again, but that's his journey, and that's for him to figure out. The point was bringing it back to myself. Was that for me? No, that's not for me, not at this point in time. And in the past, it never really was either. I just couldn't understand what those kinds of situations were. But, for anybody that might be going through something like that, this push and pull dynamic, I hope that you can find closure, and you can't expect, and I think with any kind of relationship or any kind of ending, whether it's work related or relationship, friend, family, sometimes you're just not going to get the closure from the other person. And regardless, they could even tell you their reasonings and try to give you closure. But it's all a matter of perception. It's all a matter of what's going on in your head, right? A person can blatantly end a relationship and say, listen, you could be thinking that the relationship's fine. They can say, listen, I'm not happy. I don't feel that we're a right fit. They could tell you blatantly, right? If it comes from out of nowhere, it could sometimes not come from out of nowhere. You guys could be bickering all the time, back and forth, and it could be extra, extra toxic. And a person could say, like, this is toxic. We need to end this. I need to end this. And the person receiving that rejection of sorts could still even not receive the closure. The closure comes from within yourself, regardless of the situation, right? So, that being said, for anything going on for you guys out there, for me too, I'm talking to myself with this too, and you want the pain to end, you have to look within yourself. You have to look within yourself and find that ending, that closure, that peace, that understanding of, I guess, and use my last example, peace. I want peace. I want consistency. This person wasn't matching up to, I'm not saying that these were high standards, but these are my standards. Like, in order for me to feel peaceful and safe in a relationship, I have to have communication and consistency. And if you're consistently not consistent with me, I can't, that's not for me. And thus that became my closure in that situation. Sometimes you just don't have a choice. Something ends or something needs to be ended and you have to end it, right? But I think what we're all looking for in this world, right, is just some peace, some closure. So thank you for coming on this walk with me. I see there's some people on here. Sorry, I'll look at the comments right now. Like I said in the beginning, avoid it. Yeah. Swordfish. If you're running, that's child life. Shame on you, girl. No, I wasn't running. I'm reading the comments now. I'm avoid it and working on it. Oh, I'm so glad, Swordfish, that you're working on it. Yeah, I'm not saying I'm perfect either. I'm not. Not at all. But I'm just saying what I feel if people are in these situations. I'm sorry, I'm getting in these situations that, for me, if somebody is, in my perception, playing push and pull, and then whoever wrote the comment of saying that I was running, no, I'm just not going to put up with, I could see if I've been there before, right? I'm not going to put up with months and months of stuff. Like, again, I guess I'm going to hold somebody to the standards that I'm at. Like, if I had to cancel plans with somebody, it's my perception of being considerate. If I care about someone and I have to cancel plans for them, and I know I want this person to but be a part of my life, if I'm going to cancel plans, I'm going to definitely, if I did it at a weird time at 2 a.m., okay, I definitely will the next morning say, oh, I'm so sorry. I texted it at that time. Can we please reschedule? And hope for the fact that we can reschedule. From my experience with being with a person that might be avoidant, like, they're trying to run, and you got to let that person run. But at the same time, if you've been through it and you can see a cycle and a pattern with a person and you know what it's going to do to you on the inside, then you've got to just shut it down. And it wasn't me running. It was me being clear. Me running would have just ghosted, let become frustrated, let fester inside of me, and maybe something worse would have come out of it. Like, I might have gotten angry, and what's the word I'm looking for? There's frustration, but like when you let something like simmer inside you, resentment, right? This way, I recognize the cycle and pattern. I realize that it's not for me. And what I've learned too is if a person's not treating you the way that you feel you should be treated, and you've tried your best to express yourself to them, and they're not seeing it or showing you the respect of acting on it, then it's not saying that that's a bad person either, or I'm a bad person, but I'm going to take initiative at this point in time in my life and say, this isn't for me, and cut it, but not ghost the person and just disappear and be like, whatever. Be upfront, like, please. That's it. And I only reason why it was so harsh was because I just wanted to make it understood. I've been in a situation before where I've been ghosted, others more than once, and I've moved on and whatever. And that person comes back in, kind of in different ways and tugs at my heartstrings, and then it happens again. I understand these patterns now, and I understand how I start to react to them. I think I might be obviously the anxious type, or I don't know if anybody, I think it depends on the situation, right? But I know those kind of push pull tactics, not that's necessarily a tactic, but happenings, like they affect me. They trigger something anxious in me, and it makes me start to feel resentment and upset, and it takes away from my priorities, which is raising my child and being happy. And if I'm not happy, it can kind of it can kind of overlap into my parenting. So that's where my priorities are at right now. So say shame on me, Uncle Bud, but yeah, protecting myself. Running would be me just completely blocking that person off and not saying at all, right? I gave this person another shot, which I was very reluctant to, but I was open minded to. But again, it's just all a matter of perception. I don't mean to offend people. Hi. Yeah, the woods are pretty. Thank you. Yeah, so thanks for coming on my little walk with me. I know as we are venturing more and more into the future and I feel that human connection, even though this is online, like it's going to become less and less being able to tell the difference between what's real, what's not. But right now, this walk that I had, this live that I had, this was real. So thanks for listening, guys. Give me a follow. I'm going to start doing this at least once a week in the summer. And I'll figure out how to receive gifts. I appreciate those that tried. I'll look more into it. And thanks for the likes. I really appreciate it. This was very encouraging for my first live on YouTube. And I hope you guys find your peace, have peace, and have a beautiful day or night, whatever time it is, wherever you are in this world. I hope things are going well for you. So, all right, take care.